failures. Luckily for me, I'm no stranger to failure. I'm not good at many things, but one thing I am good at is trying. No matter how many times I fail or how bad I am at something, I'm still going to try. When I reminisce on all of my many failures in life, one stands out to me in particular, my time at the Bowman Field DMV. For many high schoolers, getting your driver's license is a rite of passage. It's one of the first steps to experiencing the freedom of adulthood. For me, getting my license has been a long and grueling path, a path that I'm still on today. In the spring of my sophomore year, like many 16-year-olds before me, I headed to the Bowman Field DMV to take my learner's permit test. The learner's permit is widely accepted as the easiest step to getting your driver's license. Most people pass on their first or second try, but this was not the case for me. It took me a record 7 times to pass my permit test. Now you might be wondering, how is that even possible? To be fair, I didn't think it was possible to fail such a simple test 6 times either, but I proved myself wrong on that one. On my first try, I went to the DMV anticipating failure, since the majority of my studying was done on the car ride there. But after more studying, I went to take it a second time, and failed once again. But third time's the charm, right? Not for me, apparently, because it took 4 more times. By my 6th trip to the DMV, it was the fall of my junior year. I didn't even have to tell the workers in the permit test office my name anymore, because it was to the point where everyone who worked in that office already knew me. After failing a 6th time, I finally broke. I felt completely and utterly incompetent. I did everything right. I studied, took a million practice tests, and memorized all the questions and road rules. I didn't know what was wrong with me. Something had to be wrong with me because everyone I knew passed so easily. I was ready to give up and started to leave the permit test office for the last time. Before I could leave, one of the ladies who worked there stopped me. She showed me a piece of paper with my name on it and an appointment time for the very next day. Even though we barely knew each other, that lady at the DMV told me exactly what I needed to hear. She told me she believed in me and that I was going to pass next time. It meant the world to me to have someone believe in me like that, because at the time, I didn't even believe in myself. The next day, I went to the permit test office for the final time. I took the test confidently, listened to each question carefully, and took my time answering them. I passed that day with a near perfect score, and for the first time, I left the permit test office feeling proud of myself. You may or may not be surprised to hear that the struggle to get my license is far from over. When I returned to the DMV for my road test, it didn't go how I expected it to. Unfortunately, the road test proctors didn't have as much faith in my driving abilities as the nice ladies and gentlemen who worked in the permit test office. I failed a parallel parking portion so miserably, they didn't even let me finish the driving test and literally made me stop the car and get out. That day, I left the Bowman Field DMV feeling lower than I ever had. I never wanted to go back there again and decided to give up on getting my license entirely. I was so sick of trying so hard all the time at everything in my life and still never getting the results I wanted. So I gave up. I even dramatically threw my learner's permit in the dirt outside my house. I planned to give up not just on getting my license, but to give up on everything. I was so sick of wanting things so badly and trying so incredibly hard and still never getting the results I wanted. That day I hit rock bottom, but when you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. Recently, I've decided to ungive up because I thought back to that 16-year-old girl who kept going back to the DMV despite all odds. I wanted to get my permit, and I didn't stop trying until I got it. Even though it wasn't as easy for me as it was for everyone else, I didn't care. I just kept trying. My 16-year-old self wouldn't have wanted me to give up. She would want me to keep going back to the DMV until I passed my road test. Junior year me would be so disappointed if I gave up this time after only 1 try. After all, it took 7 tries last time. In a week from today, I am returning to the DMV. This will be my 2nd attempt at the road test and my 9th trip there overall. Most people will never go to the Bowman Field DMV that many times in their entire life, but I guess I'm just special. Even if I don't pass, I intend to keep going back, even if it takes me 20 tries this time. I'm going to keep going back until I get my license. My time at the DMV has taught me an important lesson, and that is to just keep trying. The DMV sucks, but so does life some of the time, and that doesn't mean you have to give up. I like to look at all my failures in life as opportunities instead of problems. Every failure is an opportunity to do better. When I see all my friends with their cute little licenses, sometimes I feel like an idiot, but I'm not all that sad about it anymore. I know if I keep on trying, I'll get my license eventually, and there's nothing that the state of Kentucky can do to stop me from achieving my dream. I dream that one day I'll be driving all by myself with the music turned all the way up and the windows down, and it'll be so much more rewarding because I'll know how hard I worked to get there. While the Bowman Field DMV still hasn't given me my license, they did give me one thing, and that's resilience. So whether you keep failing your math tests or you're like me and you keep failing your driver's tests, go into the next one with a good attitude and a ton of unearned confidence. Because when you finally get the results you want, it'll feel so much more rewarding. Thank you, everyone.